Have you had any conversations with anybody, loved one, partner, when you don't see eye to eye with somebody or someone? So how do you make your brain accept the fact? You're wondering, how do you get through having a relationship with this person without ending a relationship? If you have this issue, my friends, then please watch this vlog. Hi guys, it's me, Donna Bliss. For those of you who are not familiar about what I do here in YouTube, I'm a trauma survivor, and so I share my life vlogs, my everyday life here in Australia, also my epiphanies. Sorry, today I can't find my tripod, so please bear with me with my big face in front of you. Yesterday I had a big download, right? Today my epiphany is about how to understand other people's perspective, even if you don't agree with them. You know, it's very hard. It takes a lot of years to actually, I'm 80 or 85% almost there. But you know, there are times when we know we are correct, and the other person, it might be a loved one or a friend, or we're just having conversation, or sometimes we have different opinions from the person we're talking to. So I have this light bulb moment yesterday. All these memories flashed back. When you are a member of a church and you know your church is 100%, all of you will go to heaven and stuff. So of course you would want your family member, your loved one to be with you, and you know for sure you are 100% correct. But the other person didn't want to be in your church. So how do we accept the fact without any judgment? Because sometimes we think, oh my God, you will be in hell if you don't come with us in our church. You know, one of the best things that my mom did for my love life was that she just let me follow my heart and follow my instincts, which means that she had to let me fail multiple relationships. When people pass along some advices, it reminded me of some memories when I was younger. These kinds of people mean well, and they really want to help. And I can relate to these kinds of people, guys. I have a story like that, but you know, trying to help a friend and the friend didn't want my help. Oh my gosh, this is so frustrating, because it's like watching someone digging their own grave kind of thing. But somehow, you know, when you're older, sometimes you just have to let them dig their own grave. Like my mom. My mom's strategy for me for choosing the right guy was that she never advised me, this person that you're dating, blah blah blah, this and that. She just let me stumble without even telling me this boy is not good for you. Analogies are such a good examples for situations like this. Well, in dentistry, that's my profession, we have a term called pain threshold, which means that everybody's got different pain tolerance. There are people who are like crocodiles, very thick skin, and they don't get hurt a lot. There are the medium ones, for example, kangaroos. Wise, we're talking about skin-wise. So if you compare the kangaroo to a crocodile, you'd think a crocodile have thick skin, isn't it? And the lowest pain threshold, which is, for example, I imagine it would be soft shell crabs, because they've got soft shell, so that means if you pin them with a needle, they'll easily get pain. So this is like people, you know, what is too painful for you will not be too painful for me. So this analogy, my friend, is some experiences or some traumas will be less painful to the other one. If you were bullied, for example, some have just little effects, some affecting them big time because they were born sensitive, like they have sensitive hearts, they're very emotional, so of course they'll get affected. There's a lot of people who, you know, ended their life because of that. We experience differently. So this is my point, why we should stop being frustrated about helping someone and they don't, you know, like being helped. because maybe that's their process. Number two, for example, when we really like to help and the person doesn't want our help because it doesn't work for them. I have a friend, she's got a baby who never fed through her breast milk, and the baby couldn't drink a cow's milk because he will vomit. So she had to go through a lot of milks to find out that the only milk that he can consume is soya milk. Some of us can only consume, for example, almond milk, and whatever kind of milk it is, it doesn't have the same effect on everybody. Like, I had a friend who, when we used to study, when he drinks milk, that's his coffee. Me, I drank coffee when I was in the university. Him, he had to drink milk to not feel sleepy. See what I mean? My next example is bitter melon, ampalaya. When I was a kid, my mom forced it to me. Like, this is a source of iron, blah, blah, blah. And guys, for parents out there who still forces their kids to eat something like such an awful ampalaya, we all have different taste buds. It will be too bitter for somebody, and bitter is good for some people too. Some people likes, chocolate with a sour taste. Some people likes chocolate with a mint taste. I don't like white chocolate. I only can eat dark chocolate because it's not sweet. There was one time I told a friend about my traumas in life, and that she asked me to come to their church so that maybe I just need a group of people who would, what church people do. I don't know how to call that. So I told her, we talk about your son, and he's like an empath. Some empaths really can absorb energy. I feel like I am like that. Some people can heal through groups, and some people would like to heal by themselves or with a very small group of people, maybe 2 or 3 friends. And I think I belong to that group, just few friends. I heal through nature and animals. It's just me. That's how I go through my pain and my trauma. It was easier for her to understand the way I explained it to her why I couldn't, go to their church. Not because I am being stubborn or I don't want to be helped. It's just I know who I am and I know how I heal faster. Some people would want to heal through playing music. Some people just want to hear music. Some like to sing, some wants to dance, some wants to paint. Some people just like to create stuff. I don't know, creating a chair or a house. Some wants to be busy with their hands, like sculpting, gardening. These are the modes of creating something, or also modes of healing. And you cannot tell somebody to say, oh, you will heal faster, in our church. Something like that. When, first of all, for someone like me, I heal faster when I'm alone, when I'm meditating. And meditating can be a lot of things. It's walking by the beach, or hearing the sound of nature, the waves and the water, or hearing the rain, or like there are people who like certain hertz. They call it sound healing. It's like hear it will help you be calm, help you to to rest peacefully, to heal your body, heal your brain. There are specific hertz. So to make the story short, our brain doesn't work the same. My brain doesn't work like you. You have your own process. We have our own timing. Some people heal faster, some people need a lot of years. Because each of us guys grew up in a different environment, have different programming from our parents. We have different kinds of preference. For example, some prefer bland foods like English people. Australians like barbecues. The Filipinos like oily foods. Thai people like fresh foods. And Indonesian people like spicy foods. And Indian people too. I think that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I shouldn't feel frustrated or annoyed with people who doesn't need my help, or for those people who criticize me and doesn't watch my channel, blah blah blah, when I know deep in my heart that the wisdom that I'm sharing was based on my experience and based on my therapist and based on the best therapist I follow in YouTube. But we just have different preferences. That's why I'm not really bothered about subscriptions and stuff. As a matter of fact, I have one account in Facebook that says, please, if you don't like my content, please unfriend me, just to, save me time to block or unfriend some people who don't really watch my content. I know it's a little bit weird of me to say that when I am a YouTuber, right? My bottom line is, I feel like I'm just passing on this light inside me, because I will be selfish if I don't pass it on. Just to say thank you to the universe, because guys, my therapy here in Australia was for free. And I feel like if I did marry my husband, I will never ever afford having a therapist. Maybe a life coach I can afford, because life coach is more of a group of session you pay once, so it's a bit cheaper. And therapists went to college, which means that they are more expensive, especially the ones from Harvard and stuff like that. Of course, they are more expensive. Anyhow, so I feel like I have given this opportunity to restart my life. I want to share also my experiences with therapy before and after. Some of us don't know that we have traumas that are unresolved, and I was one of those people where I lived all through my 20 years of life, guys, without knowing that I have PTSD. When you hear that someone's got PTSD, it's like, oh my god, you're crazy. It's not like that. There are different kinds of PTSD. When you saw somebody got shot or had an accident, you probably have PTSD and you don't know it. Every time when you see something really horrible or experience horrible stuff, something happens to the brain when we have trauma, whether you admit it or not. And sometimes there are signs and symptoms that you have PTSD, and sometimes there's none. Like me, I didn't have signs that I had PTSD for 20 years. My husband called it dormant. It doesn't come out until your body really can't take everything in. Like my therapist called me, you're like a truck, Donna. You're fully loaded and the engine won't start anymore because you're fully loaded. I have been carrying that trauma for the past 20 years, and there's just such time that the body will say no more. And that's why I had to have therapy, so that I can reorganize my brain, even if there's triggers. There are triggers you see everywhere in Facebook, strangers outside, how they deal with you. Therapy just helped me to help my body, my brain. This is not a jungle. Your environment is not a jungle. And the therapist would just actually help you regulate and stop being in survival mode every time. That's why I am here in YouTube, to share my experience. And so I hope everybody can relate to me. That's all. Some people might not. That's all for now, folks. Thank you so much for listening to me, and maybe you had some insights or I helped you in some way. Anyhow, I'll say goodbye for now. Thank you so much for being with me again. Love and light.